Oh yeah, it is a money laundering operation
Wow. So
to grift.
you're going to officially call it a money laundering operation. That's
It
your.
it meets the requirements. It's not in a bank, and he's using it to cover up his funding. I bet you he's going to use Bencoin to try and get out of paying alimony and child support to his wife in the divorce proceedings. I know him. He's a bully and he's a psychopath, and his family deserves better. So if he could be exposed at being the scammer that he is, everyone already knows that he's a piece of shit as a human being. But if I can expose him for the scammer that he is and make Bethany set up to take care of her family, then I'm doing my job as a good person, because evil men prosper when good men do nothing.
So one of the most interesting stories that has happened on YouTube over the past few months has been the downfall of BitBoy Crypto, aka Ben Armstrong. If you don't know, he had one of the largest cryptocurrency channels on all of YouTube, the guy by the name of Ben Armstrong, and he was eventually ousted from his own company a few months ago. And went on this crazy rant. He said everyone at his former company, Hit Network, that was, they took over his channel, BitBoy Crypto. They renamed it as Discover Crypto. And he said, they're all criminals, guys. They're all going to go to jail. I'm going to get my company back, right? He acted like that for a few days. And then he had an apology video where he was crying, guys, I'm so sorry. I was on diet pills and testosterone. I didn't know what I was doing. And it looked like everything was going to get better. But he didn't, because then he made a reversal. Again, he claimed all these people were scamming him. He started his own cryptocurrency channel, a new one, called Ben Armstrong. And then he did one of the most unhinged things I have ever seen on all of YouTube. He did a live stream where he went to a former colleague's house by the name of Carlos and claimed Carlos had stolen his Lamborghini. This was a huge story. Even Penguin Zero covered this story. It was massive. And he actually got arrested in that live stream. And unfortunately, Ben has not changed since then. He's only continually gotten worse. On Twitter, he constantly says every day that the former network he worked for, Hit Network, screwed him over. All those people, he says, they're going to go to jail. They're all criminals, right? Now, I wanted to get to the bottom of this story, so I reached out to both Hit Network and Ben Armstrong. I wanted to interview all of them to see exactly what everyone thinks, what's going on in this situation. And with Hit Network, I was put in contact with the head of content named Nick. So I was able to talk to him, and he told me some really interesting things about Ben, the whole situation of why he got fired. And what I really wanted to talk to Nick about was this actual tweet that he said that Ben's new cryptocurrency, Ben started his own coin called Bencoin. And Nick claims, he actually says in the interview, which I'll show you, Nick claims that this is money laundering. This is absolutely criminal. It's money laundering. And Ben could face serious jail time for what he is doing with Bencoin. Those are pretty explosive details that Nick talks about, and I'll show you that. Now, I also have to mention that I did reach out to Ben Armstrong. I DM'd him several times. I've DM'd him in the past for other videos as well, and he has never responded. Now, keep in mind, he's well aware this interview was going to take place. Ben apparently still has people at Hit Network who are loyal to him, because when I contacted Nick the other night to set up this interview, within 2 hours of agreeing to do an interview with me, Ben Armstrong followed me on Twitter, right? So Ben is well aware of who I am. He's well aware that this interview was going to take place, and he's well aware that I offered multiple times to talk to Ben to get his side of the story, and he turned all of those down. He has never responded. With that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at this interview. Again, this is Hit Network, the former company that Ben used to run. This is Nick, who works for the company. This is his entire story of all of his dealings with Ben and actually why he thinks Ben is an actual criminal. So take a look. Okay, so here I am today with Nick. How do you pronounce your name, Nick? Your last name?
Demondi.
Demondi. All right.
Yeah.
And what's your role with Hit Network?
My role with Hit Network is I am the head of content. So I kind of manage all the different brands and the content they put out.
Okay, and to be clear to anyone who watches this, Hit Network, you run the Discover Crypto YouTube channel, which used to be called BitBoy Crypto. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And
Yeah.
Ben Armstrong used to be BitBoy Crypto. He used to run that channel, and he was kicked out of the company, Hit Network and BitBoy. Is that correct?
Ben took the name BitBoy. It was a name that Justin Williams actually came up with. And he was a majority. He gave minority ownership to TJ Shed, And from there, he had majority ownership. But after violating the terms of the business agreement, TJ Shed exercised his rights as a minority shareholder and ejected Ben Armstrong from the company.
Okay, so I wanted to go over all this because I've been seeing
Yeah,
Ben. He's been talking about this a lot on Twitter. I think he was
yeah,
kicked out of the company a couple months ago, and
yeah.
he's continuously talked daily about how you guys screwed him over. I think he's tweeted
Hmm.
many times that you guys are going to be investigated and go to jail. He's going to kick you out of the business, kick you out of the building. And to be clear, I reached out to Ben as well, and I asked him if he wanted to talk to me after I talked to you, and he
Hmm.
has not responded. So he just wants to tweet about it all day, apparently.
Sure. Yeah.
So I got to ask, did Ben start the BitBoy Crypto channel and then he brought you guys Hit Network on later? Is that what happened?
So I came onto Hit Network when it was already established as a company.
Did Ben start Hit Network or just BitBoy Crypto?
He started BitBoy Crypto. Yeah.
So he didn't start Hit Network.
He started Hit Network with TJ.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then he was kicked out later.
He was removed. Yeah, later.
Can you go over like officially what were the reasons why he was kicked out?
That I can't really get into because all of that is in full on legal mode right now. So I could tell you that the corporate attorneys, it's an extremely open and shut case with all of the corporate attorneys that we have, which is why Ben is pursuing this bizarre criminal thing with the Lamborghini, because he has no standing. He tried to bring it up earlier at the end of October and got his case was dismissed. So yeah, there's no standing as far as his allegations for like conspiracy or whatever. It makes no sense, and he's lost in the court on that battle already.
Okay. But yeah, I've seen online that he's apparently tried to get an injunction against you guys a couple times, and I guess nothing's really worked out so far for him.
No, I mean here's I actually have the latest. This is the new one. This is about the Lamborghini. So, but that's all he can do is he just kind of like focused in on this Lamborghini thing because he knows that the whole thing about the company he has no merit.
Yeah,
Because we followed every letter of the law. So
okay. So I actually did want to ask you about the Lambo. That story went pretty viral. He was that crazy
yeah.
rant where he went to, I believe, Carlos' house, went all
Hmm.
over the internet. Some of the biggest channels, even Moist Critical, covered that.
Yeah.
So I had a question about the Lambo. Apparently, he claims that you guys stole his Lambo and that Carlos has it, which is why he
Hmm.
ended up going to that guy's house and screaming like a maniac. And
Hmm.
I believe I've seen online that you guys have said that the issue with him with the Lambo is between him and Carlos, and you guys don't have anything to do with that. Is that correct?
Yeah. I literally have nothing to do with it in any way. I was writing videos for him. I saw the Lambo. I rode in the Lambo one time with Ben, but other than that, I literally have like even the lawyers were flabbergasted when they saw me and Allison on this Lambo lawsuit thing. They were like, "Why the heck are they attached to this?" Because he's grasping at straws. So yeah, I literally have no connection to that whatsoever.
Mhm. Okay. And so when you were working with Ben back when he was with the company,
Yeah.
what were you doing on a day-to-day basis with him? What was your role with him?
Um, my role was to manage the content that he wanted done on his channel. I also manage other channels like around the blockchain and blockchain basement. So, but I would say 60% of my job was executing the content, the vision that he had for his channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring up a tweet. I don't know if I can, I don't think I can share it on the screen, but it's Ben's tweet. It says, I want everyone to understand what you have witnessed today. I was accused of embezzling money to Duchess of DeFi
Hmm.
from my former and future company. So he says his future company, he thinks he's going to get back in there.
Yeah.
So is there any way you can shed any comment on that? Have you guys claimed that he has embezzled any funds from the company?
I have a very small, my exposure to the greater Hit Network legal situation with Ben Armstrong is thankfully pretty small. Um, that's the end of my legal exposure. I know that everything that we have in the original injunction, which is publicly available, all of the corporate lawyers say that this is a open and shut case. That's as much as I can comment on it.
So for this next portion of the interview, which I'm going to show you in a second, I actually had to cut a portion of it out because I actually talked in detail with Nick about a couple of tweets which named some individuals that actually want their names kept out of the interview. So I had to cut that portion out, but I want to leave his response in where he talks about how Ben Armstrong has apparently been re-uploading people's private information to his Twitter account. And Ben's response, Ben, as to why he's doing that, is because even though these messages were apparently gotten illegally, Ben didn't do anything wrong. He got them from someone else who did something illegally, apparently. And so Ben thinks that he's in the clear. Ben does not understand the law. He doesn't understand that just because you didn't do anything wrong, if you're uploading information that was gotten against someone's will, like these are private information that was leaked, you should not be re-uploading that to Twitter. So I want to show you Nick's response to Ben not understanding that and just simply not understanding the law at all. Screenshots to him, but either way, it doesn't seem appropriate that he should be posting someone's private conversation.
Yeah.
So
can you briefly talk about that? Yeah, I mean, if you come into information that is illegally obtained and use it, then that's a crime. So Ben Armstrong fundamentally does not understand criminal law in any way, shape, or form, and continuously posts L's on Twitter violating the law and good God, violating any sense or he's basically screwed himself so royally when it comes to his divorce proceedings because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Yeah, he has no sense of criminal law whatsoever. If someone sends you something that's illegal, like if you get sent an illicit image that you know is illegal and then you post it online, you have committed a crime. Like if someone sends you a bank account number for someone's bank account and says, hey, look, someone sent me a bank account number, and you post it online, that's illegal. And Ben fundamentally doesn't understand that in his own twisted mind. So even if what he says is true, which it's not, he still does something illegal because he's passing on information that was illegally obtained and he's acting on it.
One of the main reasons I wanted to talk to you was I saw the other day you posted a tweet claiming that BenCoin is basically, you claimed it was a scam and that people need to probably stay away from it. If they feel that they've been scammed, they need to contact the authorities. So can you go into a little detail why you think the BenCoin is a scam?
Yeah, so I don't think that I know that because I was using some basic what we call contract scanning tools. One of them was Token Sniffer, the other one was Solidity Scanner. And I just ran the token address for BenCoin V2 through those scanners. And basically what they do is they look at the contract and they identify any discrepancies or red flags that could basically be used by a bad actor to take people's money. I ran it through there knowing full well already Ben's plans for BenCoin because he was talking about it and asked me to be involved with it when he was still here at Hit Network, and I flatly refused. But yeah, so I ran it through those scanners, and what came back was very, very bad. I knew it was going to come back poor, but I didn't want to just go out and say it and give my opinion. I used the scanners, they backed up what I already knew, and I outlined it in detail of why it is a scam. It's very predatory.
Okay. So do you think that could potentially land him in jail, or what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let me go ahead and pull up the tweet again.
Do you know if it's, I think you alluded to him being investigated or something. Let me pull up your tweet.
Yeah.
The SEC is having a field day with this, and anyone associated with it has zero credibility in this space. So do you know that they're actually looking at BenCoin right now?
Yeah, I know there's a couple federal and state authorities that are looking into BenCoin, just like they looked into Richard Hart with Hex. They came after CZ, and who else are coming? They're coming after Justin Sun. And so guys like Ben Armstrong and like Richard Hart, who have these crypto projects that are clearly just meant for their own personal gain, are coming under a lot of federal scrutiny and state level scrutiny. I've been told by others that are close to the project that there are feds in his Telegram group and what have you. The FBI actually did make a visit to Hit Network and was questioning Ben last year. So this has all the hallmarks of being a classic pump and dump. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, he can blacklist different wallets. So like, what that means is he can, if you buy some Ben coin and he finds out what your wallet is, or you have a whole bunch and he doesn't want you to sell it and drop the price, he can just blacklist your your crypto wallet address and make you unable to move any funds from that. That's just one thing that he can do as part of the contract for this crypto token. He can also change the taxation on. So if you try to move it, he can change it by the wallet address. So if your wallet address A and you're moving some of your Ben coin around to different places, okay, and Ben doesn't like what you're doing, he can cause your wallet to incur a 50% or more tax. He can do 100% tax on just the coins that are leaving your wallet. So it is a scam, and that's just like point number 2 on the ways that it's a scam. But when you have these kind of obviously predatory practices in a cryptocurrency from a guy that's working out of the United States, yes, you're getting regulatory pressure. And the more that people, like, that's what we do on Discover Crypto. We're all about like removing the scams from the space. We want people to understand money better. We want people to take control of their finances better. And like having bad actors like this just moving about freely is bad for the space. So it's my responsibility to call this stuff out.
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty fishy. I don't know. I really haven't been in crypto since about 2017. So I don't know all the ins and outs, but it definitely sounds like something at least CoffeeZilla should look into.
Yeah.
I saw in your tweet, you also said that coins can be minted at will. So can he just make unlimited Ben coin?
Yeah, he can inflate the supply however much he wants, just like the federal government does with your money.
Yeah, I know with some coins like Bitcoin, for example, I know it has a limited supply. Has Ben ever said there's going to be a limited supply or anything, or he can just whatever he wants, just add as many coins?
It doesn't matter what he says. I mean, what he says is worth about as much as, you know, a McDonald's hamburger wrapper, because what's in the contract, what is there in code, is he can change the token supply at will. And he already did it once. He had Bencoin version 1, which was the meme token, right? It was kind of like people understood, like, I'm buying a thing that's called Ben token. It's a meme coin. I get it. That had a cap of like 420 trillion or something like that. And he's like, no, that's too much. I'm rebranding this as a community coin. We're going to foster crypto adoption. That's how the scam starts, right? Like, you change the narrative into making it seem like something that it isn't. And so what he did is he didn't like the token supply. He didn't like the tokenomics of the original Ben coin. So he did a version 2 and cut the supply down to just the circulating supply, I believe. But basically cut the supply down significantly, which helps the coin price significantly. So he's already done it once. He can do it 50 more times if he wants to, because it's baked into the contract. You can't change the code on that.
Yeah. And to be clear, Bencoin, I believe, didn't someone else create it and then he took over Bencoin at one point? Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, it was created by this guy. He makes a bunch of meme coins. People know what's going on. Like, the guy, I don't want to name him, but, you know, he is what he is. He's pretty blatant with like, hey, this is a meme coin. Like, this is a gamble. Like, no one's going to take it seriously. It's called Ben. And I mean, the coin logo was like a dog for a while, because it was just a joke. It was just a meme coin. It's fun. But then Ben, the only reason he bought it is because it's called Ben. That's it.
Okay.
It's to serve his ego. And so he went through this whole thing with the original token creator, did a little bit of an extortion, which he publicly admitted to. I can send you those tweets. He publicly admitted to extorting the original owner of Bencoin.
Yeah, I definitely like to see this.
Yeah, it's like a 12 tweet thread where he publicly admits his extortion, including like bodily harm against the original coin token creator. He took it because he wanted a Ben coin, and he tried to change the narrative into this, like, it's a community coin. It's going to foster crypto adoption. And yeah, so that's basically the ownership of it. He owns Bencoin outright 100%.
Okay. And do you know, do you want to speculate, has he profited off of it? Like, actually made he's made a bunch of money off of it? Oh
yeah. It is a money laundering operation.
Wow.
To
so
grift.
You're going to officially call it a money laundering operation. That's your...
It meets the requirements. It's not in a bank, and he's using it to cover up his funding. I bet you he's going to use Bencoin to try and get out of paying alimony and child support to his wife in the divorce proceedings.
They're
Because
actually they're getting divorced. Because I
yeah,
know
she
the
filed.
last. Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
I'm sorry
filed.
to
She
hear
filed
that. I'm
about
sorry to
two or
hear
three
that for
weeks
her.
ago. I am too, and that's like, it's like I know Bethany and the kids. They were here quite often. His son had a channel that Ben would come on every once in a while. So to see him continue to like tout his girlfriend, knowing that his kids are online and his kids' friends at their schools are online, and they're like, your dad's just like talking about how hot his girlfriend is, like that hits me in the gut just because I know how sweet and awesome his kids are. And like he can take shots at me all he wants. I don't care. He can call me names, whatever. I don't care. But I know him. He's a bully and he's a psychopath, and his family deserves better. So if he could be exposed as being the scammer that he is, everyone already knows that he's a piece of shit as a human being. But if I can expose him for the scammer that he is and make Bethany set up to take care of her family, then I'm doing my job as a good person, because evil men prosper when good men do nothing. And I'm not saying like I'm a great person, but like I'm here, I'm at Discover Crypto. I had a hand in Ben becoming as famous as he is. And I feel a sense of responsibility to call this stuff out just because I know the guy so well.
Okay. Yeah. Well, all right. I mean, I think that's most of the questions I had for you. Do you want to say anything else about Ben or anything, Hit Network, anything you want to say?
I mean, the community at Hit Network is fantastic. And what we're doing with Discover Crypto, I think is we're resetting, we're rebranding, and we need everyone's support here because crypto has a bad name. There are bad actors in crypto, not just Ben Armstrong. He will come and go, okay? He's going to expire like a jug of milk in the Atlanta sun, okay? Not long. But we just need responsibility in this space, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm taking arrows. I'm taking a lot of Twitter hate. He's kind of back channeling with his followers, and they're trying to like find where my family members work and live. They're intimidating me through DMs. They're doing death threats on me. I just got a death threat today. And he's facilitating that. And he won't publicly condemn it. And that's the kind of person that he is. But what I'm trying to do at Hit Network and Discover Crypto is 100% the opposite. We're positivity, we're education. We're trying to teach people to be responsible with their money because, like, God knows, you've already got like Joe Biden and Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell already trying to scam you out of your money. Then you got this dickhead named Ben Armstrong trying to do the same thing. Like, we're trying to be the adult in the room here. So that's all I got to say.
All right. One thing I want to ask lastly, because it just happened earlier today, is the CEO of Binance resigning and agreeing to money laundering charges, paying $4 billion, I think, in fines. What do you think about that?
I think CZ committed many sins in the early days of crypto, in the early days of Binance, because he was kind of swept up in the hype. And since then, he has tried to reform, but his sins from the past caught up with them. His sins from the past are nowhere near what Sam Bankman-Fried did. If anything, what Binance has been able to do, it's been able to shadow bank the Chinese people because they're able to put their money in dollars, not in the Chinese bank system, which is top down a scam. So it's done tremendous good for the world and helped elevate millions and millions of Chinese people out of poverty, actually give them safety with their money.
Binance?
So I think Binance, I think the good he's done in this world far, far, far outweighs the bad that he did. I mean, he probably pumped a dump a couple tokens on some people back in the ICO days in 2018, but okay, he ripped off a bunch of other scammers. Okay. There's no honor among thieves, but what he's done overall for this space is generally positive. He took down Sam Bankman-Fried. Okay. We cannot forget that. So
I think the issue, a lot of people who potentially want to get into crypto or are thinking about it, they see that FTX, which was the second or third largest crypto platform at the time. Do you remember?
I believe it was the fifth.
Fifth? Okay.
Yeah.
So FTX, one of the largest, and now Binance, the CEO is stepping down and agreeing that to $4 billion in money laundering charges. Why should normal people trust crypto when it seems like everyone in crypto is incredibly dirty? You got CZ, Sam Bankman-Fried, BitBoy Crypto, everyone is doing some really crummy stuff. Why should anyone be involved in crypto at this point?
Yeah, I think it's a really fair I think it's a really fair comment. And I'm thinking like, I don't know when this video is going to come out, but we're recording this around the holiday season. And so like there's going to be conversations that I'm going to have when I go home, see my family. Hey man, how's that Bitcoin doing? Or hey, how's your Ethereum doing? Because all they've seen is negative stuff come up. Alternatively, I'm going to say, hey, how's your interest rates doing? Because there's top down corruption wherever money is. Okay. Except, and it's no different in crypto. The ideals of crypto, the foundations of it, I think are morally good. But there's a lot of corruption in crypto, and I would say there's even more in traditional finance. The difference between crypto and traditional finance is we're not having a government with guns run interference for us. When our bad people go down, they take people down with them, but we fail and we don't get bailed out. Whereas in TradFi, you get bad actors like Bernie Madoff, like Enron, like whatever. They act poorly, people lose their savings, and the big banks get bailed out, but the little guy doesn't get bailed out at all. So pick your poison, okay? Are you going to go with the people who have an open way of doing business? And yes, there's scams, but it'll be outed in the open pretty soon. Or are you going to go with the people who have top-down support from the government, who, if you don't obey, they have the guns to back it up. So having your foot in both worlds is important, but understanding how money works is even more important. That's my thing. Like, if you're looking for a corruption-free system of money, it doesn't exist. I'm sorry. It just doesn't exist. So I've chosen to put most of my efforts into understanding crypto, which by extension means I'm understanding how money works and understand how TradFi works. And I, for one, am a better person for it.
All right. Well, that's a great argument, I guess. I don't know how many opinions it's going to change, but I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about all this stuff today.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it, Scott.
Thanks a lot.